Well, boys and girls, apparently the World Cup starts tomorrow. I know it's confusing me as well. It appears to be happening in the middle of winter. No idea why. But because the World Cup starts tomorrow, I think it's fair to assume that, of course, England are going to win it, because it would be the most England thing in history to win the World Cup that no one's going to really want to talk about in the future. We're going to kind of want to pretend this would never happened, aren't we? So, yeah, England are going to win. I assume Football Manager agrees, but there's only one way to find out. I've holidayed the World Cup 100 times in Football Manager to see who is going to win it and who the best players are going to be and all sorts of other lovely statistical goodies. Let's go and have a look, shall we? Hello folks and welcome to a good old-fashioned experiment here on the channel in which I am going to holiday the 2022 World Cup 100 times in Football Manager 2023 and see what happens. I haven't done any of it yet. I don't know how long this is going to take. There might be a change of clothes coming up. I also don't like the fact that this England shirt doesn't unbutton, so it just looks like I've got it buttoned all the way up. It's not acceptable to me. But we are going to be holidaying through. As you can see, we've got the World Cup ready to go with all of the correct teams in all of the correct groups. We are ready, and we are going to be looking at who's going to win it the most amount of times, who the top scorers are going to be. We're going to be looking at the dream team, the top goalkeeper, the top player, the top young player. Basically, all these awards. We're going to look at all of these. Can we show you the awards? All of these awards we're going to have a look at, plus all the other statistical goodies for 100 World Cups, which means I need to get holidaying. Those of you wondering, it took 3 minutes, 14 seconds to holiday forward a month to go through the entire World Cup. And that's not counting me entering it all in this spreadsheet that I'm going to do for the analysis stuff. All of that means this video is going to take about 7 hours to make. If that's not worth a thumbs up, I do not know what is. Let's get 5,000 thumbs up on this video, because you know I've spent an entire working day holidaying this and watching The Crown on Netflix. Make sure you like. If you are new, subscribe, turn your notifications on, all that good stuff. As you can see on simulation number 1, Croatia have won the World Cup on penalties from Argentina in the final. And we've had a 3-way tie for Golden Boot between Olivier Giroud, Lautaro Martinez and Breel Mbolo. What a World Cup this has been. Harry Kane finishes with the top hand average rating. We can have a look at the other awards as well, see who has won what, who officially wins the Golden Boot in this scenario. Not Thibaut Courtois, that's for sure. Luka Modric got best player. Golden Boot goes to Harry Kane, and apparently the Dream 11 doesn't get announced yet. Do we have to holiday a little bit more to get the Dream 11? This is the kind of thing nightmares are made of. Fulham have brought Claudio Ranieri back. Who knew? Right, we'll find the Dream 11. We'll show you that, and then we'll holiday 99 more times. There you go. We just had to go slightly later in the day on the Monday after the World Cup final. This is your World Cup Dream 11. Martinez in goal, Gvardiol, Koundé, Sutalo, Foyth, Mbolo, Modric, Brozovic, Perisic, Martinez and Messi. Certainly seems to be very heavily weighted towards the teams that made it through to the final. What we haven't done is have a look to see what happened in the semi-final. Switzerland and France losing there. Goodness me. Where are England? No, not in the quarterfinals. Qatar making it through to the quarterfinals. There's England getting knocked out by Qatar. I guess that's the other thing that might happen. Football Manager is right again. More simulations. There we are. I only had to reload 5 times to get England to have a win. This is a 5th holiday through. England beating France in the final after extra time, despite Kylian Mbappe ending up as top scorer of the tournament. That's England with Jack Grealish playing centre forward. Now, that is an interesting one. I know Harry Kane is in the squad because in one of the previous sims, he did finish with the Golden Boot, but clearly no need to play him in the final. Why would you? Should we have a look at the dream team from this year? So best player was Mbappe, best goalkeeper, Maignan, best young player, Jamal Musiala. Golden Boot goes to Kylian Mbappe with 10 goals and 7 appearances, which is bonkers. And there is your team of the tournament, a tournament that England, of course, have won. More of this, please. We haven't had a repeat winner yet in 5 run-throughs. Simulation number 9, we have our first 2-time winners. It's France. France are quite good. This Mbappe guy, quite good. He's winning the Golden Boot a lot. He's winning the best player a lot. France are already starting to emerge as the team to beat. We have had 8 unique winners so far in 9 simulations, so It could be anybody's. Well, simulation number 43, and this feels like the first weird one I've had in a little while. Denmark beating England 4-1 in the final. And, yeah, got to say, wasn't really expecting that. Good to see England playing the boring old flatback seven that everybody loves to play. Who was the semi-finals in this one? Spain and Switzerland also make it through. Harry Kane, top scorer of 11 goals. But that is Denmark's first win. They're the first new winner I've had in about 25 simulations. We continue. Simulation 51, and Wales have made it to a final. In the first 50 simulations, they haven't even made it to the semi-finals, but they do make it to the final in this version of the tournament, losing to France 2-0. That's a France team where the goals have both been scored by Olivier Giroud, who went on to win top goal scorer, and, oh no, Koundé got best player. Golden boot, though, went to Olivier Giroud, who also made it into the dream team at that World Cup. No Wales players making it into the dream team, despite making it through to the final, but that's quite a good one for Wales. Oh, my word, the nightmare scenario nearly came true in this one. The USA making it to the World Cup final, and it took extra time for the Netherlands to deal with them. This could have been the disaster of all disasters. Can you imagine? I'd never be able to speak to Zealand again. Good work, Netherlands, but whoever lost to them in the semis, Portugal, sort your lives out. Well, let's just all pretend that simulation number 62 didn't happen. I mean, it's the worst possible scenario. Not only have USA won the World Cup, they did it by thrashing England in the final, still playing the glorious flatback seven. I mean, it is very Southgate, isn't it? Turns out Christian Pulisic really was the best player in the world. That's hideous. That is genuinely... People ask why there's no network game this year. Just in case this happens. That's why. Simulation number 77, and we have our first new winner in ages. Poland beating Croatia in the final. What a tournament this must have been. What were the semi-finals? England and Spain getting knocked out in the semi-finals. Of course, England getting knocked out on penalties, because why wouldn't they? We've got Lewandowski in there as top scorer. Ronaldo very close to him as well. Where were Portugal? Portugal finished way back for Ronaldo to be hammering in the goals. They lost to Croatia in the quarterfinals. One thing I am finding interesting going through these is the young player in every tournament is, I mean, there's some interesting shouts. Jacob Kaminski, young player of the tournament. Do we think he's going to win that for realsies? I would say probably not. It's usually Musiala or Bellingham, but every now and again when you get an unexpected winner of the tournament, you get an unexpected winner of the awards as well, and that's definitely the case with this one. I mean, look at that for a dream team. Ronaldo and Lewandowski up front, probably not too shabby. Kyle Walker comes up a lot. He might even make it into the overall dream team at this rate. Simulation number 89, for the record, it is now more than 24 hours since I started this video, so if you haven't liked it yet, I haven't been doing it solidly for 24 hours, but still, Serbia are a new winner. We've actually got, I didn't think we'd be getting any more new winners at this point, but Serbia have beaten England in the final, Netherlands and Morocco also making it to the semi-finals of this one, and En-Nesyri of Morocco finishing with the golden boot as well. Some unusual results in this one. I like it when we get an unusual one pop up. I had a spell of like 3 or 4 simulations in a row where it was just Netherlands beating Germany in the final. That seems to be quite a common one. So it was nice to see a little bit of variety, although less nice to see England lose in the final. Not ideal. Well, it's taken 95 simulations to get here, but the game has finally completely lost its mind. Wales won, Croatia 0 in the final. Semi-finals, England and Germany both getting knocked out. Of course, England, as is traditional, getting knocked out on penalties, knocked out by Croatia in a World Cup semi-final as well. What must that be like? But Wales winning 1-0 in the final. Kiefer Moore. Imagine a world where Kiefer Moore scores the only goal in a World Cup final and Wales are world champions. I think, to really add to the nonsense, you just check best goalkeeper, Danny Ward. I'm done. And I have finally made it to Simulation 100, and it's another victory for England. Beautiful stuff. Let's have a look to see what happened a little bit further back. Germany and Morocco both making it to the semi-finals. We had Aaron Ramsdale as your goalkeeper in the team. We had Kyle Walker coming up again. Messi and Muller as your strike partnership. They are both nearly as old as I am. So my job now is to turn all of this information from a day and a half of simulating Football Manager into something useful. I mean, if you want all of the raw data, pause there, and then let me scroll. Pause again there. You can mush it together. You can do what you like with it. I'm going to do pivot tables with it because I used to be an ICT teacher. I'll be back. Probably in the morning. It's 11:15 at night, the day after I started this video. The pivot tables can wait. So we are now into day 3 of recording this video. This shirt could definitely do with a wash before the World Cup, but I do have the results for you. So it was all worth it in the end. Starting, of course, with the question we all want to know most of all, who's actually going to win the World Cup? Well, out of 100 simulations, France won it more times than anybody else. In fact, twice as many times as the next challenger. France with 29 wins, England and the Netherlands with 14 wins apiece. Even combining the two, they can't match the might of France. Is it too late to trade this in for a French shirt? It's only slightly soiled after 3 days of video making. Spain with 9, Brazil 7, and then other countries as well. I mean, the notable ones with the 1 win each: Denmark, Mexico, Poland, Serbia, USA, or Wales. It shows that it is possible. And I would say, looking at those winners, you might even throw Switzerland in with the more random potential winners, although they did pick up 3 wins. They're as likely to win as Argentina, according to Football Manager. But my statistical analysis suggests we have about a 5% chance of a random World Cup winner because they're the ones that only won it once in the simulation. France also won on the most number of times they finished runners-up, which means they made it to nearly half of the finals, which is absolutely bonkers. 46 of the 100 finals featured France in some way, whether it was winning or losing. Interestingly, Argentina, who only managed to win as many as Switzerland did, actually did lose in the final 15 times. So Argentina, if you're an Argentina fan, you should probably set yourself up for a tournament of heartbreak. Also Germany, Brazil, significant nations with a significant number of defeats in the final. More defeats in the final than they had wins, which the same could also be said about USA, Poland, Mexico, all losing more than they won in the final. And we've got our little surprise finalists again: Morocco, Senegal, Switzerland, Uruguay, and Wales. I mean, Switzerland, a 4% chance of reaching the final with 3 wins and 1 runners-up. If you're Swiss, you'd take that, right? I think you'd probably take that. And then 3rd place, which we've tracked because Football Manager tracks it, it's fairly meaningless, isn't it? Lost a semi-final, then won a meaningless match. Brazil and Germany are the kings of this, but Netherlands, England, Croatia, all with a significant number of 3rd places as well. There's no other major surprises that have made it through to the semi-finals, I think, that haven't then made it through to a final. Maybe you could argue South Korea, I think, are the only smaller nation who've made it this far but didn't appear in at least 1 final. Senegal, maybe. Was Senegal on the runners-up list? Maybe not. Senegal, maybe an outside chance of a 3rd place finish. It does mean that with France's 3rd place as well, with 6 of those, France finished in the top 3 at 52 of the 100 simulations. If you do like to have a flutter on the World Cup, France is probably a fairly safe bet as far as Football Manager is concerned. And then, of course, we move on into the player awards. And these are fairly dominated by the French guys as well. First up, best goalkeeper in an absolute landslide. Mike Maignan of France, 24 times he won best goalkeeper. Interesting, because he probably won't be France's starting goalkeeper at the World Cup. I wouldn't have thought. That theme continues. Aaron Ramsdale was runner-up with 14 and probably won't be England's starting goalkeeper at the World Cup. And then Unai Simon in 12th place as well. But yeah, very interesting that nearly half of the best goalkeeper awards in Football Manager have been won by goalkeepers who probably won't play any matches, which is interesting. I also think it's interesting to see who we have on there as the one-time winners. I mean, you've got all the familiar names you'd expect to be there or thereabouts, the likes of Edison, Courtois, Neuer, all picking up a few here and there. But I love seeing Danny Ward on here, Kasper Schmeichel as well. Leicester fans, it's still not conclusive. Who was better, Kasper Schmeichel or Danny Ward? We'll never know. This World Cup simulation taught us nothing, other than the fact that backup goalkeepers are the real rulers of Football Manager. So I guess on that basis, it's Danny Ward. Best player is an absolute landslide for Kylian Mbappe. 42 times he won best player, and no one else won it more than 6 times. This is going to be the Kylian Mbappe World Cup, apparently, with him leading France to victory, if Football Manager knows anything at all. Harry Kane won it the next highest number at just 6. And I mean, really, it's just a large pack of players who didn't really win best player very often. I think it's interesting Niklas Süle won it 4 times. Wouldn't necessarily have put that one on my prediction sheet. And also Danny Ward actually not only won best goalkeeper, the tournament he won best goalkeeper, he also won best overall player at the World Cup. I assume, and I should probably go and check, but I think it's safe to assume, that was the one World Cup Wales won. So if Danny Ward starts the World Cup having an absolute stormer and people are talking about him being the best goalkeeper, maybe even the best player at this tournament, keep an eye on Wales. They're probably winning the whole thing that time. Also worth noting is Jude Bellingham, who was the only player to ever win best player and best young player at the same time. And he did it twice, both in World Cups that England won. So if Jude Bellingham looks like he's the best player in the tournament, watch out, England are coming for you. Lionel Messi winning it once. Cristiano Ronaldo never winning it. So guess that settles that one then. Best young player is going to be Jamal Musiala. He won it 24 times in the simulations. Bellingham, second place with 13. And of course, Bellingham did go on and win best player in the tournament the two of those 13 times. Ansu Fati and Bukayo Saka both tied on 10 wins apiece as well. Lovely to see Saka performing well on that, especially because I don't think he ever made it into the dream team of the tournament. So when he has a good tournament as a young player, players in his position have even better tournaments and make it into the dream team, I think. I think of the top 4, he's the only one who never made it into a dream 11. I'm seeing Timber and Gvardiol there as well with Pedri. I think that's probably all of the bigger names that you would expect to see on there, the famous wonder kids. And then you get a few more of the random names that you might want to go and check out. I mean, I'll level with you. I don't really know who Kenneth Taylor is. Brennan Johnson, I'm aware of him from Forest. Camavinga, of course, as Football Manager players we all know. And Kang In Lee, I tried to sign on my Twitch save, and he didn't sign for me. And I was really sad. Follow me on Twitch. And then the Golden Boot, you probably could have predicted. Kylian Mbappe wins the best player more often than not, and he also wins the Golden Boot in exactly half of the simulations, 50 times. Kylian Mbappe picking up the Golden Boot, with Harry Kane and Romelu Lukaku the only other really notable ones. 10 for Kane, 9 for Lukaku, and then it's just shared around lots of other players, with a few of them picking up a couple, like Neymar, Muller, Lewandowski, Kramaric winning multiples, and then lots of players just winning it that one time. This is where Ronaldo gets one over on Messi. Messi might have won best player once. Ronaldo wins the Golden Boot once. What odds would you have got years ago for it just being a 1% chance of either one of them winning a Golden Boot or a best player? It seems odd. Olivier Giroud won the Golden Boot once. He won it as many times as Ronaldo and more times than Messi. I don't really understand Football Manager anymore. It's absolutely bonkers. Worth noting as well that the average number of goals to win the Golden Boot, 8.02. So that's the goal you're looking for. If we get a player who gets more than 8 goals and it's like the quarterfinals and someone's on more than 8 goals, they've basically got it wrapped up already, because 8 is what you need to win. There was only a handful of occasions where more than 10 goals were scored by an individual player at the World Cup, and it was always Mbappe when it happened. And then finally, we have our World Cup Dream 11. This one took some shuffling around because this much data was confusing even for me. But obviously we had all of our dream teams from all of the 100 tournaments and basically picked the players who featured in it the most, which gave us this 11 of Maignan in goal. It was always a 4-4-2, so we've gone with a 4-4-2, a back four of Theo Hernandez, Kimpembe, Koundé, and Kyle Walker in the World Cup Dream 11. A midfield of Neymar, Rabiot, Bellingham, and Ferran Torres, and then Benzema and Mbappe up front. Just checking back in my notes, the player who made it into the most dream teams, as you would imagine, Kylian Mbappe, 62 out of 100 dream teams Kylian Mbappe is a part of. Second, you'll never guess in a gazillion years, Adrien Rabiot. 30 times, nearly a third of the time Rabiot is in that Dream 11, and he kind of rotated between being on the left side of midfield and centre midfield. I think that's a theme. A lot of players who can play in multiple positions got in more Dream teams. Neymar got in 26 because he could play up front or on the left wing. Theo Hernandez can play left wing or left back, so got in multiple. Mike Maignan can play in goal. Koundé can play centre back or right back. He was in 23 times. Kyle Walker at 22 with Kimpembe and Benzema. Ferran Torres was in 18 times, but again, some of them were up front, some of them were on the right wing. And Jude Bellingham, only 14 times he made it into the Dream 11, but that was enough to get him a spot in central midfield because there's so many central midfielders. It wasn't always the same recurring players who made it in. Honourable mentions to players who, if we'd have changed the formation, would have made it in, i.e. they got in the team at least as many or more times than Jude Bellingham did with 14. Harry Kane was in 20 dream teams, but couldn't get past Benzema and Mbappe to start up front. Ben Chilwell made it into 18 of them. Lukaku and Sergio Ramos both made it into 16. Jurrien Timber, Matthias de Ligt, and Memphis Depay all made it into 15 dream teams, but can't get into central midfield. I guess you could maybe put Depay in central midfield ahead of Bellingham, and then equal with Bellingham on 14 times in the dream team, Antonio Rudiger, Jose Gaya, and Thomas Muller. And there we have it, boys and girls. After nearly 3 days of faffing around and simulating and holidaying and typing into spreadsheets and then analysing the spreadsheets, we've learned that France are quite good, Kylian Mbappe is quite good, and England might win the World Cup, but probably less likely to do so than France. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Like I say, it's probably the video I've spent the most amount of time working on ever. So please give it a thumbs up. If we can get to 5,000 likes, I would really appreciate it. A lot of work has gone into it. Very much outside of my comfort zone, not my typical kind of video. And if you want to see more stuff like this, I'm going to need to see this one get mega supported, because like I say, a lot of work has gone into it. But hopefully you have enjoyed it. And if you have, leave the thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel with your notifications on for more stuff like this. And of course, my normal daily Football Manager videos. Thank you very much for watching.